I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-597-4816. That's 1-800-597-4816. 1-800-597-4816. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Keith Langlots. For tonight, patchy fog, otherwise partly cloudy, low 47. Daytime Friday, the fog out of here by 11, becoming mostly sunny, high 74. Friday night, mostly cloudy, low 53. Saturday, we start the weekend, slight chance of rain with the high 70. Saturday night, rain, low 55. Sunday, we'll have rain and showers, high 65. And Sunday night, we finish the weekend with showers, low 46. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. It's Wolfman Jack.
Sometimes I get to thinking there's just not enough love and romance left in our lives today. And that's why I like to reminisce and to relive that first feeling of love and do it all over again.
Did you boogie with your baby in the back row of the movie show?
The Wolfman's back all the way on KCAA at midnight, Friday and Saturday nights, coming in March. Don't miss the Wolfman on 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
KCAA.
Hey! What the? Honey! The water just stopped in here.
They turned it off because you're wasting water.
What? What are you talking about?
You know.
Because you know it's all about that drought, no water. It's all about that drought, no water. It's all about that drought, no water. It's all about that drought, drought. Yeah, it's pretty clear, we're really short on blue. It's time to save it, like we're supposed to do. Some say it's doom, gloom, and all our grass must go. But together we can make it and enjoy our golden state. It's all about that drought, no water.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Watezone. We're from the desert to the mountains to the oceans across America, back to San Bernardino, and we're here. And I'm Rob Starr along with my co-host, or our co-host together. But it's A Day.
A day.
A Day.
All right.
Letter A. The able, accepting, active, adaptable, adventurous, admirable, agile, alert, analytical, appealing, artistic, astonishing, this is going to give me a raise, attentive, authentic, and just plain awesome, Mr. Mike Barrett.
All right. Thank you so much, Rob. You always energize me to make that statement, that call to our listening audience to continue to be very judicious with every drop of water because we are still in a drought.
Absolutely. So welcome everybody again to the Watezone show. And for those who want to call in today, please do so. 909-888-5222. And if you're calling outside the 909 area code, it's 888-909-1050.
Which is the call
of
numbers
KCA,
of our
right,
of
1050
KCA,
AM
1050.
and 106.5. So we're very excited to be here. Had a great week, busy week. I know you were busy as a beaver all week.
That's right. But hey, I heard you got a chance to attend a very, very informative water summit that really was set up because the state of California entered into a memorandum of understanding back in 2014, was it?
Correct.
To share technologies, to do a transfer of information knowledge with Israel around water technologies.
Right. It was signed by Benjamin Netanyahu, the president of Israel, and our governor, Jerry Brown.
Prime Minister, I think, but
No, he's president.
oh, okay.
He's president.
All right, stand corrected. But yeah, this,
One for Rob. No,
Okay, that's-
just kidding.
who's keeping count? Who's keeping score?
30-2. No.
No, but who did you see there that maybe spoke to the audience about water?
They had California Senate Pro Tem Kevin De Leon. They had Alex Padilla, the Speaker of the House. They had David Nahai, who used to be in charge of the LADWP. Just a whole...
Felicia Marcus, I
yes,
think,
Felicia
was there.
Marcus was there. Tons of people.
She's the chair of the State Water Resources Control Board. Of course, they're the ones that have set up this entire system of measuring how much water we are using as individuals on a per-day basis, right?
Yep.
And the good news is that back in 2005, the per capita consumption of water was up about 192 gallons per person per day, serviced by 422 water agencies throughout the state of California. You know what it is today? Close to 105 gallons per person per
coming
day.
down.
It's almost down 50%. That's really good. The not so good thing is that in January, in the aggregate, the state of California was only able to reduce its water consumption in urban communities by 17.1%.
1%.
Right. Which is still, it's amazing that we would think that 17% in a winter month was something that, oh gosh, we're sad about. But Felicia Marcus said, we are so close.
24.8%.
We're so close to that goal of 25%. So,
And nothing's going to happen if we don't make the 25%. But that's a good entry for the news.
all right.
From the desert to the sea, we're now ready for the Inland Empire news of water. No, it's covering water all over California.
That's right.
But speaking of that, what you talked about for the consumption, there was a report recently prepared by a UC Davis professor which determined that because of the state's edict to reduce water usage, the new paradigm has caused a major problem. Do you know what that is?
One of two.
Okay.
One, it could be that our sewer lines are slowing down and
Yes.
getting stuck
Smelly.
because the amount of water that was required to keep these sewer lines moving was around something like 120 gallons per day per person, and now we're down here at like 55 gallons per day per person.
That's correct. So what it's causing right now, it causes an intense and noxious smell. And in addition, the waste, which we all commonly refer to as poop, doesn't get enough water pressure and water to flush it down the pipes. And then it creates hydrogen sulfides, which then starts the pipes to rust and corrode.
Uh-oh. And if they start to, I guess the good news is does that create some maybe lead contamination?
It could, but a lot of smelly problems and a lot of leakage.
So maybe once a month, everybody's going to have to flush twice.
A National Flush Day.
Yeah. Okay. I think we figured out that we in California need to have a state flush day to help our sewers.
We're going to have a contest.
Stay
How many
clean.
flushes can you do in a day to do that?
We're going to have to bring that up to Felicia Marcus, I think.
See if she'll go for that. You know about Folsom Lake?
I hear that it got so much water from the recent rains that they're actually having to let water out to the ocean.
50,000 gallons a minute.
Every 24/7.
Yeah.
So, think about it. We were seeing pictures of lost cities uncovered, as the lake.
They're going to find one.
And all of a sudden now, I guess what I heard was that the folks that are in charge of flood management, they have targets for every reservoir because a reservoir also serves as flood control.
Correct.
Well, if you want to use that structure for flood control, what do you want? You want an empty structure so that if there is a lot of rain, you can
got a place to put it.
Exactly. But if you're in a drought, you need to have water in the reservoir to supply the summer months. So that's a catch-22.
And the Army Corps of Engineers and some guidelines they had back in 1980-something, I think it has to be 60% full.
That's right. Folsom, it has to be 60% full.
So, yeah, that's going to be a problem.
And so it's too full right now.
Yeah.
So there you go. Department of Water Resources for the state of California really is having to deal with challenges that are unprecedented in its history, because at the same time that they're managing for the drought, they're training people to deal with floods, and they've got to do both activities simultaneously. So my hat's off to the management team at DWR. They've got to keep their act together, that's for sure.
I'm glad we read the same information back. What makes it easy?
I didn't read anything before tonight. I just know this stuff.
That's why I call you Mikeypedia.
That's right. There you go.
You know about the snowpack?
I heard that because of the dry February, we're down about 84%.
83, but that's close.
83, okay, round off. So yeah, that's
And then there was a Senator Walk who introduced Senate Bill 1340.
You're going to have to tell me a little bit about that.
It promotes water efficiency by requiring permits for the installation, expansion, or replacement of irrigation systems for large landscapes, and it's going to start in 2017. Hasn't been passed, but that's where.
So I
that's
wonder
going.
how that kind of integrates with the California Model Water Efficient Landscape Ordinance, because that also applies to any major retrofit.
Correct.
Or
installation
that is, I think 1,000 square feet or more, that's also requiring a building permit. So basically there's a lot of focus on making sure that our irrigation systems are as efficient as possible.
I didn't have a chance to pull that, but I will tomorrow to understand what it is all about and stuff. You have any other? I'm sorry.
I have an interesting thing. There is a water agency in Los Angeles that is working on doing a $600 million transfer of money from the Department of Water and Power to, not you, not me,
I wish,
but to the city of L.A.
Yep.
Now,
and you heard about the increase they did yesterday.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they've been, transferring monies, for quite some time, but this year was particularly interesting because of what you just said, which is they just passed a rate increase.
Yep, 8% a year for 5 years.
So it's like
40% in 5 years. And from what I heard yesterday, because I was with a lot of those people yesterday. In fact, I was with David Nahai, who used to be the former general manager of DWP before now Marcy Edwards, and he told me yesterday morning he just came from that approval meeting and was telling me about that. But it's, from what I understand, and I don't know this for a pure fact, but according to some attorneys who were there, they said it was illegal for the DWP because of profits, because they're supposed to be a nonprofit agency, to give that money to Los Angeles. There's two lawsuits now involved about that.
Well, we know that the general manager's a very capable, competent.
Yep. Marcy's very good.
General manager, and so I'm sure she'll sort through those issues. But the bottom line is, so many water agencies saw their revenues decline by over 20%, because if the state of California actually consumed 25% less water, that means that the revenues to the water agencies decline.
A lot less, that's right.
And 80 to 90% of their expenses are fixed expenses that have nothing to do with the sale of water. It's the equipment. It's, they've got pensions. They've got liability. And one of the reasons I see that there is a need for raising rates is the infrastructure. The water infrastructure is old. They've got some piping systems that are
80 to 100 years old.
Yeah, 80 to 100 years old. So, unfortunately, oftentimes decisions are made to keep prices low, and you defer those maintenance expenses until it just becomes inevitable. You got to do it. And then instead of paying a little bit for over 20 years, you got to pay a lot over 5 years.
Well, here today in downtown Anaheim, they're collecting signatures to oppose the train that they call to nowhere, and taking that money and defer it back to solving the water issue. That's what they're collecting, putting it on the next ballot. So
for the big fix.
The
dual tunnels.
Yep. Well, we got a great show today. We have some good inline guests.
We have some very good guests.
And what we have is Mr. Steve Creech, who is the executive director of the Weiland Foundation, who we know, and he's going to tell our listening audience all about that. And another gentleman named Robert Farnsworth, who's the chair and professor of the Department of Horticulture for Saddleback College College, who does a lot of things with us collectively. So, but I do want to welcome Steve and Robert to the show. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hi, guys.
Thank you, Rob.
How you guys doing?
Excellent.
Haven't seen you in a long time.
Right. Hey,
Like a week?
Like a week.
Now,
Monday.
I've been listening to you guys talk, and there's not a quiz at the end of this, is there?
No.
Because there's no way I can remember everything that you just went over.
Well, maybe just a couple questions. But no,
So, just for our listening audience, we work with you guys on projects with Wyland the Foundation, but maybe you can just give a brief introduction, and then we'll go into some questions about who is Wyland and what is the Wyland Foundation.
Sure. I think the best way for people to orient themselves to Wyland is you can drive anywhere around Southern California, and for the nation, for that matter. Wyland's best known for painting these gigantic murals of marine life. You can see them on the Long Beach Sports Arena. You can see them in Redondo Beach on the power station over there. But that's really what he's best known for, and those were started many years ago. And
he's not a tagger.
Not a tagger, although I think he refers to himself as a glorified tagger. But those murals were really, at the time, this was a period of time back in the 80s when people weren't creating these giant 3M super graphics all over the world like you see today. So at the time, it was very, very unusual. And what he did was he wanted that art to have a cause that reflected what he was passionate about, and that was ocean conservation. So over the course of several decades, he decided he was going to paint 100 life-size marine life murals all around the world. So he finished it a few years ahead of schedule. He's painted them in 17 countries around the world, and as part of several Olympic Games, including the Vancouver Winter Olympics, the Beijing Olympics.
And he was the official painter of the Olympics, right?
That's right. Part of what we did was support the U.S. Olympic team by creating a series of artworks that with a percentage of proceeds going to support the athletes. The painting, in fact, that Wyland did was called Faster, Higher, Stronger, which is the Olympic motto. And in the case of Wyland, it worked out really well because he had 3 dolphins, each portraying the different aspects of the Olympic model. So one of the best ways to describe Wyland is think of your most outlandish, ambitious, greatest dream, and then multiply that by 10. Because that's the way Wyland works. There's no obstacles. You think as big as possible, and good stuff happens when you think big. And case in point, for his last and final mural in this 100 mural project, he wanted to paint the Great Wall of China. And we had many conversations about this, about what exactly does that mean. And I think he settled on trying to paint a 10-mile stretch of the Great Wall of China. So that was the vision, and we worked with the International Olympic Committee and the Beijing Ministry of Culture and getting everybody on board. And after several meetings, basically the Chinese said, we've thought about that project, and, well, it's kind of an antiquity, and no. So we circled the wagons, and we thought, well, if we can't do 10 miles in the Great Wall of China, what can we do? So we said, hey, I know we can paint our own Great Wall of China. We can build our own Great Wall. So what we did was we constructed a mile-long structure in Chaoyang Park where they were going to have the volleyball events. And we invited kids from all over the world, from all the embassies, from the United Nations Environmental Program. They all got together, and everybody created a different mural representing a different aspect of water from all around the world. It was just spectacular. When it was all done, we had this amazing, epic series of murals that snaked around this beautiful lake in the center of Beijing, and we had the ambassador to China, the U.S. ambassador to China at the time, come out, and all these dignitaries, and it was just wonderful. And then at the invitation of the White House, of President Bush at the time, they invited us to come and take this entire project to the U.S. National Mall, where we installed it for 2 weeks. It spanned the length of the mall from the Washington Monument all the way to the Capitol.
So I got to ask you a question. You're telling me that you took the mile-long wall from the park in China, the venue of the volleyball competition, and you transported it to the mall in the U.S.?
That's exactly what we did. And at the time, so it gives
That
you...
must have been like a super jumbo plane.
Yeah, a few boats involved in that too. But it does kind of take you into the world of Wyland and what people can do if you really think big, and you've got a great group of people that with a can-do attitude. And that eventually became part of the opening for the new Smithsonian Ocean Hall there. But it was a seminal project for Wyland, and this comes back to the Wyland Foundation, because the foundation is all about bringing people together for clean water and healthy oceans. And I can think of no project that symbolized that more than that effort, thinking about something really big, getting the whole world united behind it, working with other countries, and then bringing it to the U.S. National Mall. And from there, that's where all of our partnerships really for the Wyland Foundation just blossomed. Our relationship with the U.S. Forest Service, with the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and everything took off from there.
I had this really cool opportunity to meet Wyland, and from what you say and his big thinking and what he does, you think this guy's got to be like, I don't know, just unapproachable because he's just so cool, and it was just the opposite. He was just so down to earth, and you just got that sense that in his heart, he believed what he was trying to communicate about, the oceans and clean water, and it really was, it was motivating.
Yeah. And it's a really interesting intersection where we're all sitting here together now having this conversation, all focused on water conservation, because we came at it to protect our coasts and our oceans. We really have to start looking upstream about what's going into our watersheds. And then it became more of an issue. Hey, what can we do for water quality and watersheds? And of course, from there, it becomes about everybody practicing conservation, and the more we learned, the more we found how beneficial that is to our cities and communities.
Well, the good thing with the low flow flush toilets, the poop's going to go slower into the ocean.
Well, there's two things.
That
One
means
is,
you can catch it now.
Like in Orange County, they have that water reclamation.
Yes, they do.
System, and we're going to see more of that as the technology expands. Because, as we know, in Israel, those guys recycle 90% of all of their wastewater. Yeah. And so I think that's
one of the cool things that people don't know about Wyland, if you live in California and in the state of Florida, you can order your license plates with the Wyland welltail on them.
That's correct.
And that's a pretty cool thing.
Right. Well, right now the license plate is in Florida, and that's probably the best place to get it.
Now, does that mean that when, let's say I lived in Florida and said, I want to get that license plate, does some of that money for the license plate go to a beneficial purpose other than just paying for the license plate?
Well, again, a lot of what Wyland is doing is cause-related to support clean water, clean oceans. We support lots and lots of causes all across the United States. And, of course, one of our programs is the Wyland National Mayor's Challenge for Water Conservation, which is going to be launched on April 1st. It's our 5th year. It's a 30-day campaign for cities all across the United States, and it's in partnership with Toro and Toyota, and the EPA, U.S. Forest Service.
I've got to tell you that we were contacted by the White House, and they're having a water summit on March 22nd. I don't know if you'd heard about this or not, but we submitted as part of Toro's initiatives to help use water more efficiently and to communicate a water ethic, the value of water. We do that in our ag division. We did that in our golf division. We do that in our residential commercial division, which we're partnered with Wyland Foundation. And so we presented the Wyland Mayor's Challenge in that, and our effort was accepted. So I'm not sure if that means we're going to get some publicity out of there, but I think we're going to have this effort, the Wyland National Mayor's Challenge, actually mentioned and be part of one of the ongoing national efforts to focus on water. So, without that partnership and without that program being so effective, I don't think we would have got the notoriety that we get. So,
why don't you tell people what the Mayor's Challenge is and how they can participate and what you can win from that. Everybody can have a chance to win prizes.
Especially the website where you can go to it.
You can win a car.
Okay, I'll say it in my best radio voice. Okay. If you go to mywaterpledge.com, you can get a taste of what the National Mayor's Challenge for Water Conservation is all about. But essentially, it's a competition between cities to see who can be the most water wise. So residents log on to the site at mywaterpledge.com. You make a series of pledges on behalf of your city. Essentially, you become an ambassador for the city of Los Angeles.
It costs no money for the person doing that.
No money. It costs the cities no money. It's all underwritten through the generosity of folks like Toro, the Wyland Foundation, but residents come on and they make a series of pledges to save water at home or in their community around town. A lot of the things that we're talking about right now. And it's also a great way for people to understand the broader benefits of water conservation. Saving water, you're reducing greenhouse gases, you're also practicing ways to prevent runoff, and at the end, you can enter to win prizes. The cities with the most residents that make pledges, all those residents that took part, they're entered to win a Toyota Prius. They're entered to win smart irrigation products from Toro. We've got some new partners, a company called Earth Friendly Products. They make Ecos, which is a great cleaning product. You'll see it at Mother's and Whole Foods. It's much less harmful to our watersheds. Lots of great ways to win. In fact, I think we have almost $100,000 in prizes to give away. And that's just for saving water. But the benefit is, for one thing, you can see how your city's doing against other cities throughout the month. So it's a bit of a horse race. You'll see cities like Tucson and Long Beach and Pittsburgh, and they're always jockeying back and forth to see whose residents are really taking the pledges. But the cool thing that we're doing this year is we have a classroom component. And the classroom component always has different educational activities. Last year, we were really focused on the water energy nexus. This year, we're going to be talking a lot about landscape and irrigation and reducing our impact on our waterways by growing smart, by using smart irrigation. And one of the things we're doing is we're teaching schools and communities around the country how to build their own raised garden beds and learn about smart irrigation and planting your own foods. And we have with us today our partner who's been supporting this program, Robert Farnsworth, who's the head of horticulture for Saddleback College. And he's been our advisor on this as we are looking for ways to get people involved in horticulture and understanding, hey, the food that we eat, if we're reducing our waste, we're reducing our waste all across the board. And then from there, Robert is selecting these edibles or vegetables rather that people can grow, and then we're working with top chefs around the country who are creating recipes out of those.
Well, we're going to grill him in a few minutes, since that's the cooking method, right? We
yes.
Use that term. But we're going to take a break from our sponsors because that keeps the show going. So we'll be back in 1 minute for the Water Zone with Mike and Rob, and stay tuned.
Are you looking for the right place to purchase your landscaping items? Well, come see us at Hydroscape. Hydroscape offers a large selection of irrigation products including Irritrol and Toro, such as their efficient precision nozzles. For 40 years, Hydroscape has been family owned and operated, serving Southern California. With 17 locations, our knowledgeable and experienced staff is equipped to help you with all your irrigation, landscape, and outdoor living projects. Whether you're installing irrigation systems, wanting to maintain a healthy landscape, or simply create a beautiful lit space for outdoor entertaining, Hydroscape is the place to go. Visit our website at hydroscape.com for more information and find helpful articles on our blog, or call our customer service center at 1-800-395-4477.
Are your monthly water bills draining your wallet? Then you need Valley Soil, your one-stop expert on water conservation to save you water, time, and most of all, money. With over 35 years of experience, Valley Soil has implemented numerous conservation programs for water districts throughout California. They have performed over 12,000 water audits and installed over 300,000 smart irrigation products for municipalities, residential and commercial property owners, saving over 293 million gallons of water each year. That's enough to fill 15,000 swimming pools. Their services also include indoor water audits, leak detection, retrofits, reclaimed water systems, and managed water use and data tracking. As certified irrigation auditors and a state-licensed landscape contractor, you can trust them to be knowledgeable about the services you need, products they install, and best practices in water conservation. For an individualized water solution for you, contact them today at 888-268-1009. That's 888-268-1009 or valleysoil.com. Remember, when it comes to innovative ideas to save water, Valley Soil never lets you run dry.
Hi, we're back on the Water Zone with Mike and Rob. Hope everybody's having a great day. We have our great guests, Steve Creech, Executive Director of the Wyland Foundation, Robert Farnsworth, Chair and Professor of Department of Horticulture, and my Mikeypedia, Mike Barron, sitting next to me. And we just started getting into Robert Farnsworth. And Steve, I'll let you...
Great. Yeah, Robert Farnsworth, as I mentioned, is the head of horticulture for Saddleback College, and he's been an advisor to the Wyland Foundation. In fact, he's been a chief designer in some of our projects. We've done some amazing give back projects, which we did recently in Dallas. We turned an entire school courtyard into a water efficient outdoor classroom, and Robert designed it. And that's something that the kids are going to be able to use for years and years to come to learn from it and make better use of the space. So,
how did you meet? Robert, how did you meet? Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob. I was involved at Laguna Beach Water District's Smart Water Days for the past 4 or 5 years, and that's where I met Wyland. We just were privileged to team up in this effort towards water conservation. I think I have a new idea too. I'm thinking about a 10-mile long water conservation garden to demonstrate.
That's right.
I think we've had our fill with the whole 10-mile thing. Let's.
Well, when you kind of like the concept is creating these raised planters in schools and then setting up the drip irrigation system or the maybe a more permanent design with very high efficiency spray nozzles to be able to water those planters. And then have you narrowed your choice yet of what kind of vegetables you're going to grow in your planters?
We're narrowing that down, and it does present some challenges regionally. You know, things that grow in Minnesota will be different than what grows down in Texas, for example. But we're dialing it in. We're looking at things that try to save water the best we can. We've got a whole palette of herbs and good vegetables that I think the school kids are going to love.
And that was really the crux of this, because we're going into our 5th year with the challenge, and year after year, I don't think you can go to people and say, hey, save water, save water, save water, unless you find some way to connect them personally to it. And we thought a great way to connect them personally was with the food that they eat, and show them how food is grown, how you nurture it, take care of it. And then Robert, of course, is an expert in water conservation. And so all really we did was come up with an educational system for it, and he took it from there and just built on it.
Well, I'm a big advocate of what you're doing, just because at the Irrigation Association show, we got a chance to give little presentations about drip systems and other products to school children. And, when they start talking about seeing how tomatoes ripen or, snap peas or whatever it might be, or rosemary or... I don't know, there's something about seeing these seeds grow up, push through the ground, and you're giving it water, you're seeing something alive grow.
We're watching the miracle of life right there, and it's so important. Working with those children at the Dallas Elementary School was perhaps the most fun I've ever had. But they're really excited about saving water.
I think, was there anything that occurred there in your interaction with those kids that kind of surprised you or maybe is memorable that,
Well, the participation was wonderful. I asked them, do you know there's plants that grow only in Texas? And they're like, really? Yeah. So they were all excited about Texas plants and about the new garden going in place and the big oak trees that will shade them in 100 years or for 100 years and longer.
It was actually I have a high density picture of it, and it came out so nice. I have it as my screensaver now at work. It's so beautiful looking at from what it was. I didn't split the screen to show what it was before, but the afterwards. And everybody comes in my office and say, hey, what is that? I said, that's the project we did with Weiland, and it's just awesome.
Yeah.
And I think we're all looking for ways for kids to get their hands directly involved. The Weiland Foundation has a Clean Water Mobile Learning Center that travels around the country.
Yeah, tell people about that. That's an enormous thing.
Well, like I said, it's an example of all the things that we're trying to do to create a more hands-on experience for the kids, whether it's the raised gardens that Robert's helping us with, or traveling the country with this Clean Water Center, which is it's a semi-tractor trailer.
It's like 68 feet long.
Yeah. Yep. And it's got an onboard movie theater with special effects where kids become a drop of water and they go through the entire water cycle. There's foggers and wind blows inside it, and there's an entire room with activities and learning modules. They can make it rain. They can create rain over an urban landscape and understand how runoff occurs and where it goes, and they can follow that through pollutants. And by understanding that, they understand the cause. They can start adjusting behaviors and also sharing that with their parents. And everybody's now working together, slightly changing their behaviors. That's really all we can ask for.
I recently got a chance to listen to an author by the name of Cynthia Barnett, and she was talking about behaviors in the sense of to really make that next big step in conservation is to change behavior. But how do you change behavior? By having this water ethic that just in your gut, water's such a valuable resource, and where it comes from, where it goes, and you treat it in a way that perhaps we haven't, being in a society of plenty where we just turn on the tap and it was always there for us. Right. We got a little bit spoiled. We just thought that was just the way it is here in the U.S. And you compare that to other countries that have had water shortages in the past, and just that reverence for every drop of water. So I think that's where what you all are doing is one of the benefits that I see of our partnership, and of what focus you're putting on in terms of the children and getting them to understand that complete water cycle and how it does give life. It is the miracle of life. So I just commend you guys for doing that.
They're doing a project right now with the Journey Charter School in Irvine. Maybe you guys want to talk about that for a second, what you're doing.
Sure. Journey is building on what Robert is doing at Saddleback College. They're doing their own test beds as well, their own planters, where the kids do come in. They'll be planting some of the items that Robert has suggested for these gardens. They'll be installing drip irrigation. They'll follow the whole process, so they understand about nutrients and nutrient loads. They'll understand how much water to use, how the plants are adapted to water use, which Robert has taught me. There's new research on really how much water is required to grow specific plants.
The state of California is leading the way in estimating what plants need. So we can dial that in and teach the kids just how to save water. We use 7 billion gallons a day.
Wow.
On landscape water.
Yeah, I know in California, at least in Southern California, in the summer months, up to 70%. I mean, if you're in Palm Springs, 90% of all the potable water goes to irrigate outdoor landscapes. Right. So you're right. We've got to, figure out how to do that more efficiently and really have climate-appropriate plant materials, which is where, we need to learn how to communicate and educate the horticultural realities of plant materials.
Well, right. The other thing that we're teaching the kids here with our educational materials is it's really a STEM approach. There's the entire science behind this. They're learning about new technologies, and I know Toro and the engineers that work for Toro are on the cutting edge of technology that can be applied towards irrigation. There's engineering involved, and of course there's math, as we're talking about understanding what these plants need, how much water is required. Integrating the technology, you essentially have an entire classroom in a 10 by 10 plot here. And, I have 5-year-old kids. We've just planted some vegetables in our backyard. And it really changes their dynamic. They're not disconnected anymore. When we go to the supermarket, we go to the produce section. Well, those vegetables are there. It's very different when they, like you said, Mike, when it comes up from a seed, when we're watering it, when we're talking about, well, what sort of nutrients are required here? How does photosynthesis work? You start incorporating the science into it, and those are lessons that will carry through with them for the rest of their lives. And quite honestly, I think we all agree the type of innovation that we're going to be needing to adapt to changing climate, to growing populations, to the engineering required to overhaul our water infrastructure. I mean, we're going to need a powerful suite of science tools. The general public is going to need that to be able to understand and make decisions about this stuff. So.
Now, before the launch is going to be on April 1st in San Diego for the Mayor's Challenge, you're going to do sort of, I call it a pre-launch, but you're going down to the Linfield Christian School in Temecula, I believe. You're bringing the Mobile Learning Center down there. And I know Rancho California Water, who supplies water to that, I talked to their general manager the other day. They're going to help support that and bring a bunch of people down and materials, and that should be pretty good.
That is, I got to tell you that I was so impressed with that learning center when I saw it at the Irrigation Association back in November. I mean, and I watched kids, in groups listening to the instructors, to the docents or whoever knew the information. And that kind of learning experience where it's so real and it's absorbed, that makes a difference. We keep doing that. That's going to make a difference over the long haul. So it's...
And it's not just the kids, too. I want to shout out to the students at Saddleback College, but
and you got to say hi to your mom,
and mom, and my lovely daughter. Thank you. But the students are really keen on this water conservation cause as well. Yep. All ages.
My granddaughter was down in the one in Dana Point. My granddaughter Paige, and she went through it, and she really liked it a lot. So it was pretty exciting about that.
Well, it's doubly important because they are taking field trips out of schools. And we estimate that the fact that we even have this exhibit, Safe Schools, just over $300,000 a year just in field trip costs. I'm not even talking about the content. So in that respect, we're also providing another service to the communities.
And last year you did it at the State Fair in California. That was incredible. Had tons of television people and everybody else for that. But if people want to learn more, which they should, because it's a really good foundation, where do they go to find out about Weiland Foundation?
You can go to weilandfoundation.org to learn about all the activities that the Weiland Foundation is doing. You can learn about our relationship with Robert and all his great work over at Saddleback, and our partnership with Toro and all the great federal agencies that we work with.
And listen, if you think that this educational effort, this learning center, the development of raised gardens in schools is all a good cause, you can actually donate on the Weiland Foundation website, right?
Thank you, Mike, for that plug. But yes, absolutely. The programs, the Weiland Foundation is a 501c3. It's a nonprofit public charity. It's dependent on public support. So the more support that we do get from the public, the more of these services we can provide.
I just feel like it's such a great cause, and so, yeah, I'm a big supporter.
They get lots of people. Well, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to bring back our DIY sprinkler guy. And we thank Steve and Robert for coming. And
thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys will be back. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Are your monthly water bills draining your wallet? Then you need Valley Soil, your one-stop expert on water conservation to save you water, time, and most of all, money. With over 35 years of experience, Valley Soil has implemented numerous conservation programs for water districts throughout California. They have performed over 12,000 water audits and installed over 300,000 smart irrigation products for municipalities, residential and commercial property owners, saving over 293 million gallons of water each year. That's enough to fill 15,000 swimming pools. Their services also include indoor water audits, leak detection, retrofits, reclaimed water systems, and managed water use and data tracking. As certified irrigation auditors and a state-licensed landscape contractor, you can trust them to be knowledgeable about the services you need, products they install, and best practices in water conservation. For an individualized water solution for you, contact them today at 888-268-1009. That's 888-268-1009 or valleysoil.com. Remember, when it comes to innovative ideas to save water, Valley Soil never lets you run dry.
Oh, welcome back to the Water Zone with Mike and Rob on KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM. And we do want to hear from you, so please call us. We're lonely. We need help. No.
That number is 888-909-1050 because we are on 1050 AM.
Correct.
And that's if you want to have a toll-free number. If you're local, then it's 909-888-5222.
Yeah, so please call in. And now it's time
for
the sprinkler guy.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Richard Daigle from Irrigator Tech.
Well,
how you been?
Good. Last week I was traveling to Arizona. Next week I'll be in Texas doing classes. So traveling all over the United States, educating people on conserving water and growing their businesses out in the field. So maybe today we can talk and talk about the same subjects you've been doing. Irrigator Tech is doing a lot of research on growing, because there's a lot of apartments out there and people that want to grow rooftop landscapes and growing on their apartment terraces, vegetables, and growing all different types of stuff. So what Irrigator Tech has done, we've got
legal stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can go to a hydroponic store. So I've gone to probably about 20 different ones, and they are incredibly knowledgeable. And what I did is I bought.
You got to say, so hydroponics, for those of us that we're just sprinkler guys and we don't.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain what hydroponics is?
Yeah. So what I did is I went there. I bought some. They have buckets, and with those buckets that you can snap in a lid, and it has a net inside of it, and it's a plastic net with a little lip on it. And what you can do is put water in the bottom part of a bucket. Now, you can build this yourself by just going to a Lowe's and Home Depot, getting one of those 5-gallon buckets, taking another bucket, popping it into the top, and you drill a hole, and for 25 cents, you can get a little net. And it's a little plastic, almost like a drain. And what you do is you pack the soil, the mulch inside there, and then you put your plants up on top, and what it does is it wicks up the water. So you can put a drip emitter, and it goes in, and it gives all the water in the bottom and then wicks it up to the plant. So what we've done is I've done all this in my backyard.
And this is without a pump, right? I mean,
right.
You don't need a pump. You don't need to plug anything in.
Natural capillary.
Yeah. So what you can do is you have apartments where people want to grow their own herbs, their lettuce. They want to have wheatgrass to grind it up in the morning, so it's like a juice it up. And you can grow all this hydroponically with just water, and with it wicking up and growing, you use a lot less water. So I called Hap Kellogg, and he donated some mulch to me, some really top-notch mulch. I've got some other people that gave me coconut grindings. So I took about 6 different mediums. And I have ceramic balls. I have different types of stuff that ends up pulling in the moisture into the soil. And so instead of, these are little clay balls, Mike. They're little clay balls. And what they do is that holds the moisture. I knew that would get Mike going. Okay. So.
There's a story about a company that came to Toro, and Mike was demonstrating about hydroponic stuff.
I think we better leave it there. Go ahead, Richard.
Go ahead.
They're about to lose it. It's so much fun that you can talk about.
Oh, my gosh.
But by growing lettuce and different types of stuff that you're going to eat. One, just like the gentleman before me were saying, it's pretty exciting. But it gets pretty exciting to be able to see the done in soil. But when you can open it up and look down and then look into the water and see all the hair roots growing up, it ends up being pretty good. So these guys are just loving this. But growing vegetables and stuff that's on your apartment or your rooftops, and eating and feeding and teaching children. You can go to the Orange County where they did that renovation in Irvine. There's a large place there. We built a place, a planter area. So what it does is that up on top, it is built where it has the solar power. Then from solar power, that lowers it down into a water reservoir where there's tilapia fish, and then it fertilizes and then brings it back up and redoes it again. And what it does is it fertilizes naturally, it creates oxygen, and it re-plumbs back up to the plant itself. And then we give all the donations, the food that we grow out to rescue areas where people need food. And
is that over by the Orange County Food Bank, by the Irvine?
By where the Irvine company is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they do it. We learn from that, and then we grow it. And then what we do is we film it and show people how to grow. We're working right now with a school district of Anaheim, and they've got a handicapped school where Down syndrome children are, and they had a garden there, and they just kept on not being able to get to the vegetables because they would fall down and lean over and not be able to really see the plants. So we went in and raised gardens up. Now what we did is I got a hold of Pepsi, and they gave me the 55-gallon drums of syrup they have. I can get 52 slots inside that. So I have a pattern I cut in, and this is on a video that we have. And you can cut it, then you kind of heat it up, and then put a board in, and it makes a slot. So I can get 52 strawberry plants on that. Wow. Then what you do is that you put the soil on top. You can put a perforated pipe down the middle. And then what you do is you put the right type of worms you need into the soil. It goes through the perforated pipe, and you can take shavings of paper and recycled food that we give you a list of. You feed that, and what it does is it aerates and feeds all the plants naturally. So using the earthworms, you're using the soil, using recycling.
It's pretty simple.
And we gave that to the kids, and so they can go with the wheelchairs. Instead of bending down, they can work on these barrels with vegetables all around them, and the strawberries just hang there, and then we put all different types of plants up on top.
Wow, that's really simple.
So you can do that from a small bucket that you could just purchase from a Home Depot and do the same type of thing, or you can get a big one, and then so the elderly and kids don't have to bend down.
You said you had that on a YouTube?
On a video, so they can go to Green Industry News on YouTube. We've got about 300 videos on there, and that just helps people to think of different new ways how to save water. And it's just pretty incredible that when you have a reservoir of water that it feeds from, those roots will find it, reach out, and just use very little water going back and forth. So you don't even have to water from the upper part. It just pulls it down from the reservoir and sucks it right back up.
I've noticed lots of hydroponic stores now being created all over the place, and I guess it's getting to be. I saw it 15 years ago when I went to Disney World. Took our kids there, and they had a whole area for hydroponics, growing tomatoes and all kinds of things. And that was kind of like, maybe it's more than that. It's I'm probably imagining it's probably 25 years ago that they started doing that.
Yeah, and there's several areas where we have a strawberry grower that's in Temecula that now has over 1 million square foot warehouse, and he has built towers that go up. And what he's done is gone to a Home Depot, Lowe's, got the fence railing, and then on top, then he drilled holes in it and built this whole tower, and then the irrigation comes down and then recycles, and he's getting hydroponically, he can grow strawberries all year long. All the restaurants, everybody, they get their lettuce from him, and it's fresh that day.
So you use a lot less water.
Oh, very little water. And there's a restaurant chain that's in the East Coast that now is growing everything on a rooftop gardens in a greenhouse hydroponically with the water and the air and everything else. And now they just go up once or twice a day and get the lettuce and everything you need. So talk about a fresh salad and fresh herbs. It's right there. So what I'm encouraging, like the gentleman before me, is that if you grow it, you touch it, and your kids learn about it at home, then they'll learn how smart and what they can do about conserving water and what life that's in those plants. And they really get excited about it, and they appreciate the plants, appreciate the food, and the whole recycling of water and everything else that's there.
I know the hardest thing is when you buy a bag of seeds and you bring it home to the little guys, and they plant it, and then they get up the next morning and come out, Papa, there's nothing there. There's dirt still there. They don't realize it takes time for it to grow, and you try to explain that to them. I said, just like you grow every single day, so you have to wait a little bit before it happens. But that's the only disconnect time that's hard.
That's hard to do. But with all the neat little teeny things, you can go to a hydroponic store and get that with the light and everything else. Wheatgrass that you can grow, cut, and put in your juices and juice with it. It's usually a week now. I mean, it's nothing like it used to be. And then the kids can cut it, and then they put it into their juice, and they're drinking it, and they just think, oh, wow, this is like what a horse or what an animal, ate in the old days, and they know they're getting all those vitamins from it.
Well, I know in some of the higher-end grocery stores, you can buy these little kits for your herbs. And a lot of people at home who like to cook, they like to have access right now to fresh herbs, and they grow them right there by their windowsill. They cut them on the board, put them in the pasta sauce or whatever they're making. It's just incredible.
Oh yeah, and we had a bunch of kids over, and we had spaghetti squash, which a lot of people have never eaten before, but it's beautiful, big and yellow. You can cut it in half, you boil it and cook it, and then you put some turkey meat or anything that you want inside, and the kids scrape it with a fork, and it looks just like spaghetti, and they're thinking, oh my God, why would I ever eat spaghetti the other way? So the kids are getting the vegetables, everybody's happy, the kids are having a good time, and they're seeing it at preschool. So what we're doing is, like the other gentleman ahead of me, we're trying to, I think the more people that just keep on spreading this news and letting kids have fun, then they keep on inspiring the parents in the field to say, hey, Dad, hey, Mom, I want to do this. This is really neat. Yep. So it's pretty exciting out there to be able to touch people, and with the people ahead of me, the Wyland and us, and there could be hundreds of us teaching. There's just not enough people passing on this information, making people excited about it, and what I would think that people want to do, maybe look at our videos, inspire, and take on a project and go to the school. All the parents that have little 3-year-olds or 6 years old or 4, go to all the schools that are out there and say, hey, let's take on this project and spaghetti squash, or let's do this, or let's do that, and make it fun so everybody learns from it, takes it home, and asks their mom and dad to do fun stuff.
Yeah, and I think we do a lot of outreach to schools, and we work also with the Wyland Foundation, like this Journey School. They won an award from the EPA, recognized school for what they've done. And we were amazed. I was over there on that was Monday or Tuesday with Steve, and just walking around, it was just a total different sense of an elementary school of what they had. And we went inside a classroom, and kids were doing really nice things, and it was just amazing. It's different than a normal public school. This was a charter school, which is a recognized school, but it was so different, the atmosphere, and with everything they did around the outside. The kids participated in making the school go forward, which was really nice.
Yeah, when you're talking soil and learning about the little animals and everything, and everything out in the field, kids get more involved. Absolutely. And love it.
So everybody knows who Irrigator Tech is. They help train and certify landscape
contractors, and all you Irrigator Tech members nationwide, call in, bring us some new stuff, let everybody know here that you're out there.
Absolutely.
And you're on the move making sustainable landscape.
And how do they get a hold of the Irrigator Tech?
You go to irrigatortech.com and find our website and go to our YouTube channel and learn more.
Great. Well, that ends the show tonight. We're going to be on our way to go eat. And I want to thank everybody for listening in tonight. And next week we'll have some good things happening. So everybody stay good, stay safe, and use less water.
This is 1050 AM KCAA Loma Linda and 106.5 FM Yucaipa.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Keith Langlots for tonight. Patchy fog, otherwise partly cloudy, low 47. Daytime Friday, the fog out of here by 11, becoming mostly sunny, high 74. Friday night, mostly cloudy, low 53. Saturday, we start the weekend, slight chance of rain with the high 70. Saturday night, rain, low 55. Sunday, we'll have rain and showers, high 65. And Sunday night, we finish the weekend with showers, low 46. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
Remember when AM radio was so good that you couldn't turn it off?
And now the mighty Wolfman doth roll up his sleeves and giveth to you the Beach Boy.
Round, round, get around, I get around, yeah, get around.
I now declare that all the fun we're having here is deemed retroactive. That is, it'll negate all the bad times you ever had before, and henceforth further make all the bad times that might be coming now better.
You're listening to the Wolfman Jack Show.
You're setting fire to your hearts. Oh, I know that it smarts. I know you just burning with desire and hoping that your Wolfman gonna put out the fire. This is the Eagles, baby. New kid in town.
Listen to The Wolfman Friday and Saturday nights from midnight to 5 a.m. exclusively on KCAA.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
KCAA. Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon out of the Sunset Gower Studios with Universal Broadcasting Network, and then every Thursday on my syndicated CNBC News Radio channel, KCAA, on AM 1050 and FM 106.5, and also all over on TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube. So wherever you are, I am trying to splatter you with hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words on this show. No Kardashian talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So starting out with my traditional peace shout-outs to excellent customer service, this time to the Wells Fargo folks in Claremont, and also a huge kudos to the movie Spotlight that won the Academy Awards. And I am very, very proud that I actually had SNAP, the organization that the movie actually started in the documentary or the true story part of the story, and one of my Balance Life coaching clients, Chris, who came on and did a series of Healing with Me. He was abused by a priest when he was in his teens. And so if you've missed any of those episodes, please go on my YouTube and just type in Dr. Marissa and Snap or Dr. Marissa and Chris, and you'll be able to see those. And I'm just so, so grateful that they did get the recognition. It was a fabulous movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. So congratulations there. And my interviews that you've been waiting for to see are finally up. The Don Miguel Ruiz interview that I did on location at the Conscious Life Expo, as well as his son Don Jose Ruiz, their book, The Fifth Agreement, and Don's book, The Fourth Agreement, the one that was on the New York Times bestseller list for over 7.5 years. So please do go to my YouTube and just type in Dr. Marissa and Don Miguel, and you'll see those, as well as Master Shaw. Master Dr. Shaw is a healer, and he did an actual healing on camera. So you can enjoy those now at your leisure on my YouTube channel. And also, thanks to all of you, I now have over 45,000 views on YouTube. Just so grateful. And the hottest news about my CNBC News radio station, Dave Ramsey was there before I got there, and then now Stephanie Miller is there, as well as Wolfman Jack is coming. So that's another station for you to be tuned into. That's Thursdays at 7. And just a grateful shout out to the station owner, Fred, and station director, Mark, and my fabulous sound engineer, Carlos, there. And then, of course, thanking my fabulous sound engineer and co-producer, Jarvis Essex here, and the station owner, Tony Sweet. So all kinds of gratitude and appreciation today, because it is my 200th week on the air. I know I did 200 shows with Neil Donald Walsh and Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith and Bishop Carlton. That was my 200th show, but it's actually today 200th week. And it is also the day after Leap Year Day, and I accidentally met someone whose birthday was on that day, his business partner, and that's Anthony Robbins. So Anthony is business partners with Joseph McClelland, and so they're going to be coming on later on this year. So you just never know what you're going to get on this show. But today, we are actually delighted to have a topic that doesn't always bring you hope and happiness, and that is taxes. But I did want to bring an expert on to give us tips, because if we're going to try to make that whole process a little better and not quite so stressful, we want to hear from an expert. So I'm bringing you on Andrew Poulos, who's not your typical accountant. In fact, he's totally different from most accountants. He's an enrolled agent licensed by the U.S. Treasury to practice before IRS, and he's also been referenced as an expert by many sources, including Forbes, U.S. News World Report, U.S. Today, and AARP. As a regular media contributor, he's appeared on Fox Business Network, One American News Network, First Business News, and various nationally syndicated radio shows, including his own and mine. The Savvy Money Show is his show. Founder of the Poulos Children's Cancer Foundation charity, the passion he holds closest to his heart is the Georgia Special Olympics, where he worked with the mentally and physically disabled children. He calls it an emotionally uplifting experience that taught him about perseverance in life, no matter what obstacles are thrown your way. And we'll hear a little bit about how he overcame his as well. Please welcome to the studio, Andrew Poulos.
Thank you, Dr. Marissa. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. So before we get into the tax, because I do in doing my research on you, you yourself have come from that place where what is it? Pain is the touchstone of growth, and you have also experienced some less than positive things in life. Tell us about those, just to humanize you for my listeners.
Certainly, I'm probably just as common as everyone else when it comes to having, problems in life. I started the Children's Cancer Foundation, Poulos Children's Cancer Foundation, because cancer does run in my family. My father passed away when I was 11 from colon cancer, so it runs in the family. I've been operated on